Oh, I didn't see you there. Hi, this is Identity Releasing Son, your host for today's video. I'm kind of off script, going on a tangent of an iceberg I made. Now, this is not the kind of content I like, and if you like icebergs, I'm sorry. It's just not for me, but I did make a mock-up. If you don't like that, I will tear you a new asshole with this chainsaw. Let's begin. Now, for the purpose of today's video, at least the first entry I have, which is body armor, I increased my graphical settings just to prove or disprove one of the two entries that I included, but this is just a mock-up and only a glimpse into the depths of this game. I might be scatterbrained. I might do them in a random order. I'm not too sure. I'm just kind of doing this as I go along. My newer videos, i.e. after recording this, should be more polished. I'm gonna get better at this. Hope you enjoy the gameplay in the background. And I will mention this. I do have a cheat table, and I'm being honest about it because certain content I want to create requires cheats, such as a free cam or just spawning in items to show it. If I'm ever cheating in a video, I will mention it, but typically even the gameplay you're watching, while it may have been preluded with cheats, may not be actively using cheats, such as invulnerability or body armor. Like the clip you're currently witnessing of me running around with the baton is completely legitimate. No tricks, no gimmicks, no cheats are used. All these takedowns and kills are purely skill. Anyways, let's begin. Body armor. Now, when I put it in this entry, I had two things in mind. There was a rumor in Vice City and in other 3D GTA titles that picking up body armor is a visible effect and can actually be seen, as in when you pick it up, your body gets slightly larger. I am mixed about this one. I can't tell if it's true or not. While I have thought that I've seen it for myself, and other players themselves have even told me this, I think it's just a placebo effect. I think we're seeing a visual effect that has nothing to do with the body armor. But yeah, I want to debunk it, but so many people say it does. Other people don't even know what I'm inferring. So I'm gonna say it's at a draw. But personally, I want to say it's debunked. The second entry about body armor, though, is true. A little cool tidbit, but you see the 100 health on the top right? Well, when you have body armor, it's a gray 100. But if you have 99 in body armor, you can't pick up body armor again. You have to damage yourself more than 2 points to pick up a new, fresh set of armor. Just in case that wasn't clear, if you only take a single point of damage, which is possible by the way, you will not be able to pick up fresh armor unless you take another point. So essentially, you need to damage your body armor 2 points to pick up more. Unlike health though, you can trip, take 1 point of damage, you can pick up more health immediately. This only applies to body armor. Movement and advanced movement. If you see how I run with those very wide left and right footsteps, I'm not directly running forward, but I am, in a strange fashion. It's been proven in at least the 3D era games that moving left and right, or also known as strafing, increases your speed in both foot and vehicle transportation. So essentially moving forward just straight without moving your analogs is technically slower than the way that you see me moving in this clip. It's also proven that turning left and right when attacking increases your power of your attack. So movement overall should be improved on in this game, because the more basic your movement is, the more basic your overall gameplay will be. Also, what I'm doing in this clip here with these two cop cars is going to be in a later entry, so just pay close attention and maybe you'll understand in the later entry. Thank you. Fake homeless. Now, this is going to be a strange entry. Some might even say this is probably going to be racist, but there are homeless peds like the guy I just bumped into on the street that can drop large sums of money occasionally. This would be logically they're homeless, they have nowhere to stash their money. So some of them who have collected large amounts have obviously a large amount on them. They have nowhere else to put it. The woman I just smacked down is another homeless ped. There's probably like 4 of them. 2 males, 2 females. And they're usually hobbling. They're typically injured. There is a white or Hispanic male wearing a black shirt. There's a homeless black pet with a reddish shirt, which I just passed. There's that green shirt woman that I just knocked over. That guy I just tried hitting, or just hit, knocked over. He typically has the most money. Second most money is the black veteran. And then third and fourth most is the female homeless. I don't want to get into the specifics of why these have more or less than others, but the drunk guy, I would assume, is typically more violent, and therefore he gets more money because he's aggressive and probably steals. The black veteran has less money than the aggressive drunk guy, I'd assume, not because he's black or homeless, but because he's a veteran. He's looked down upon. He's typically more unstable, and that's going to make it harder for him to keep money. I just finished killing a green-shirted female, and that is another homeless woman. I call her Smelly Homeless. She makes quotes about how smelly she is, but I wanted to bring up a polar opposite, and that would be the Japanese tourist. Now, I'm not sure if this is an Asian culture thing or simply an Asian American, as this is a true statistic in America, the United States of America at least, that Asian Americans typically keep valuables and cash at home. They don't trust banking institutions. I bring this up because when you kill Japanese tourists in Vice City, they hardly or very minimally drop money, and when they do, it's very small sums. And you're gonna be like, well, they're tourists, they don't have homes, so wouldn't all their money be on them? Dumbass, there's hotels. Anyway, to my knowledge, the Japanese tourist takes only what they need out for the day and leaves the rest of their money at the hotel. Now, the homeless pedestrians, which drop significantly a lot more than a tourist, is because they don't have a home. They have nowhere to store their money. They have nowhere to put it. So all the money they've ever collected is going to be on them at once. So I say fake homeless because they're dropping, on the rare occasion, they're dropping thousands of dollars. But in reality, that's all they're worth. Meanwhile, the Japanese tourist probably has 10 grand in a safe somewhere else, not accessible by the player. I went off on a large rant on this simply because of how interesting it is and how it technically reflects on the real world. See, that homeless ped just dropped so much money. He dropped more money than I've ever seen a tourist drop, and tourists are literally traveling the world. They're supposed to have money. Money strats. Now this is incredibly vague, but essentially there is so many ways to make money in Vice City. From beating people up, to working as a cop, or driving a firefighter truck in and out of a building multiple times, glitching the mission, or just doing regular story missions. You could finish the game with a measly 20 grand in the bank. You could finish the game with a max 1 billion. Depends on how you play, depends on how much you take the game seriously. I can go strangely in depth about this, and I will actually do so in the comments if you're curious about any money strats. Cop killer methods. Well, if you want to get away with capital murder and get free weaponry without getting much media attention or wanted attention, if you paid attention earlier when I robbed those 2 cop cars that I pointed out, I was able to knock over a cop and basically run him over with his own car without actually operating the vehicle or actually hitting him. So technically no assault and no attempted murder was obviously attempted. You can flip over a vehicle and run over a cop with his own car. You could just pin him under the vehicle, or you could flip over the vehicle and cause it to explode next to him. I call this a car bomb trick, as if I'm in a high-speed chase on 2 stars, and I'm being pursued by, let's say, 2 cruisers, and I flip over. If I get out and stay near the flipped cruiser, just before it blows up, any cop nearby is gonna get killed by it. And I'm not getting blamed for it, but I'm still getting free pistol pickups or baton pickups. I do this quite oftenly, and I'm able to accrue lots and lots of ammo without getting too much federal attention on me. There's plenty of cop killer strats. Just depends on how you want to play. So I made an entire video on this, and I suggest you check it out. But to summarize it on 5 stars, which is the star rating after the one I'm currently on, 4. I'm dealing with SWAT guys as I just finished killing one. But after the SWAT guys comes an FBI. And out of all 5 wanted tiers, the 5th tier is the fastest. And because it is the fastest, there is a reduced amount of other pedestrians on the street because of the out of controlness of the speed. So because of that, the game limits how many pedestrians are around, and the game gets super quiet. Some people think that 5 stars happens to be the creepiest and the most difficult. Even though there's a difficulty tier above that, I would agree. I would say that 5 stars on Vice City is harder than 5 stars on GTA 5. Media attention stat, or a gauge. Media attention happens to be a statistic in-game which essentially shows your notoriety or your fame / infamy in the game. If you have an infamy stat of, let's say, 1500, you're considered internationally famous. If you have a stat of 2500 or something crazy like that, you're considered a basically legend. And there is a cheat code which can show your live stat, and that kind of implies that you're always being followed by news coverage and or a helicopter. That actually kind of segues into my next entry, which is the fact that there is looming federal agents after you die in certain locations. In the current spot that I'm fighting, you'll see it's a hospital, and I'll respawn here after I die and come back. You in this footage you won't hear it because I muted it, but there's a helicopter that just finished leaving, and this is kind of proven in San Andreas, as in San Andreas, anytime you spawn in a safe house and walk outside, if you've reached a certain level of infamy with police, you will be targeted or stalked by police. And this gang stalking is prevalent in titles before San Andreas. In fact, Vice City invented a lot of the mechanics that San Andreas is apparently famous for. So, when you respawn at a hospital after being in a engagement with police, you can occasionally see police still lingering outside of the hospital or the, per se, jail if you are arrested. And it's quite interesting because you can find military still outside after they just finished killing you, and it's quite funny seeing that. I've recorded this part twice now for the fear stat, but the fear stat is essentially a hidden mechanic that is carried by NPCs of all sorts, but is most notable or most visible because it is practiced by police more often. And I say this because police take note of what weapon you're using and how intense you are with it, and they choose on whether they're going to be aggressive, cowardly, or neutral. And this is audible in GTA 5, as police will acknowledge the weapon that you're using. They'll be like, oh fuck, RPG. And while I appreciate that detail in GTA 5, the gameplay doesn't reflect that, because they'll scream that you have an RPG and then immediately rush you with a pistol. But in Vice City it's different. If a cop takes note that you have an RPG, he's gonna be like, oh shit, you know what, I'm gonna just be chill, I'm not gonna shoot at this guy, he might fucking end me. And that's a real stat. The first 4 stars of law enforcement, which is Baton Cop, Pistol Cop, Vice Unit, and SWAT Unit, all have the fear stat. The FBI and Army, which is 5 and 6 star units, typically don't have the fear stat. They'll keep coming at you irregardless of what you're using and irregardless of how intense you are, because they just don't care. They want to get the job done. They'll stop at nothing to take you down, and I can kind of respect that. This game is pretty diverse in its coding. It's pretty detailed. There was obviously a lot of love put into this game. Well, the fear stat is an incredible feature because it is so subtle and it is very tasteful. It's very realistic, and the fact that GTA 5 tried doing it, what is it, like 11 years later, and they still fucked it up, is incredible. We need Dan Houser back, because GTA is just not going to be the same. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'm sorry that all of this is clearly made on mobile, from the gameplay to the editing. I will have a PC set up soon enough, and will upload quality content with quality editing, as I am typically a Sony Vegas editor. I haven't edited on my phone seriously in years, ever since I upgraded to PC. So this is just a strange trip down memory lane. Anyways, I appreciate you sticking around. This was just a mock video, and I really am just testing the waters. But I don't really expect too much from this. Just kind of getting a feel for formatting and such. Anyways, subscribe or I'll pop you with this motherfucking Bowl 5. Peace.